Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. So previously we talked about elements. We talked about what is element. We talked about what is tag, opening tag and closing tag, and we said that opening tag and the closing tag makes up an element and with some content inside it. Like example, we have as you have h1 here. This is opening tag of h1, this is closing tag of h1. Two of them together makes up an element and some content inside it. Most of the times, you have some content inside it. Everything can be called h1 elements. All right, so and we stated about that every element has its function. We also went ahead to put another element which we call MQ. MQ, the function of MQ is to move a text. So we talked about all this in the last episode. So right now in this episode we're talking about attributes. But before I talk about attributes, I mentioned that there are some elements that are empty. There are some elements that are empty elements. They are called empty elements. Reason because they have only opening, but they don't have closing and content. So, I told you that doc type is one of them, but it's a special type. It is a special type of empty element. The one I will be explaining now is break. So I should say it before I move ahead. So you have other empty elements which we are going to come across later in the future topic, like IMG, input tag. So input tag or input element, or which however you call it. Alright, so but right now I will show you the function of break. So line break is one of the elements that helps you to step down text. It helps you to break down text. Helps you to steps down text. Example now, as I have this text here, or this one, whichever one I want to use. So if eventually I don't want it to keep on being in the same line, I can just use my enter to keep stepping it down. All right. So then, if you are using break is just you just put break. Understand? When you go to your browser, it does a stepping down for you. All right. So even like this, as it is now, as I've stepped down in this your code editor, when you go to browser, nothing steps down. We can test it. So let's go to your browser. Everything is still the same. It's still moving in the same line. It's still horizontally moving. Alright, so let's put the break. Regardless, I will have added I've created a space, so I've entered in our VS Code and nothing stepped down. We only did it in our VS Code, so in our browser it's not showing that we actually stepped down anything. So let's actually add the line break so that we see the effect. Okay. Alright, I added 3. Okay, let's start from 1 first. Okay, so I added. Take note, is the last text. That is the last MQ that I'm adding this into. So it will break down the text. Okay, are you seeing it? There are now 3. That is, I broke it down from this place. You can see where my cursor is. From after this R, I broke it down. So it stepped down. I don't know what I'm saying. So let me put another break so that it will somehow be clear to you. Let me put like 3. The more break you put, the more it steps down for you. Okay, are you seeing? It has stepped down further than previously. So I believe you conceptualize me now. So we'll have to move ahead to attributes. Alright, so in other empty elements, as you can see now, let me a little bit. As you can see now, this is only opening. It doesn't have closing. It doesn't have content. Okay, it's just one. All right. So please don't misunderstand. This one is just you are duplicating it. All these other ones after you are just duplicating it. It's not the closing. It's all the you are just duplicating it. So it just, for example, you can just put, let's say we have paragraph. You come outside and put another paragraph. This is what this looks like here. Okay, so don't misunderstand this. This is not the closing. Okay, we just duplicated the empty brick elements. Okay, so hopefully you get what I'm saying now. So let's jump into attributes. So attributes, first of all, let me create a file for it. So every topic has to have its file. Attributes.html. Alright, so what is attribute? Attribute is one of HTML components which gives further information about an element, which gives further information about a HTML element. So we're going to give examples now so that everything will be clear. Before I give the example, I want to show you another shortcut of VS Code. Instead of writing, because you have to, before you start creating other elements, you have to first create your standard structure of HTML, which is your doc type will be there, your root element, which is HTML element, will be there, then your body will be there, your head will be there, your body will be there, so your title will be there, and some other little things that has to be there first before you start adding to it. You are just adding to it. So the standard structure of HTML, you don't have to start typing it one by one again. Just in VS Code, what it does is, if you type HTML, you can choose HTML5. Just click enter. You choose HTML5, everything populates out for you instead of typing everything. But one of these things is that in head elements, it puts what you call meta tags, which you have not gotten to that on Sunday. It just populates what you call meta tags, so it brings out a lot of things, but you can just overlook the meta tags because I have not started talking about it. It's in a future topic that we're going to discuss it. So however, when you click HTML5 like this, it pops out for you. Have you seen? Everything has come out. So I can just remove this meta tag. It's not that it's not important, but for now I have not explained it. You really don't know what it is, so just overlook it. I'm taking it away. Alright, so I'm now left with my standard HTML structure. Alright, so where I have my doc type, alright, then I have the root element, which is HTML. I have my head, I have my body, I have my title here. So you might also be asking yourself that they added another thing inside there. Give me a moment. Everything is going to be explained inside this attribute. Okay, so alright, we'll move ahead. So like I said before, attributes gives further information about a particular element, particular HTML element. So this sorry about that. So this attributes now, it comes in name and value. Name and value in the sense that it comes with the name and a value that will qualify that particular name attribute. Alright, so as I'm saying the list, I won't understand. Let me just start practicalizing it so that we will be able to understand ourselves. Alright, so let me first attribute we're talking about here is href. So href, sorry, hold on. Alright, so href actually goes hand in hand with what we call anchor tag, a tag, or you can call it a element. So this href and anchor tag helps you to create a link. Okay, let's do something now. So I say a anchor tag, or you can put it like this, write it this way. You can use your shortcut, your VS Code shortcut, but I don't use such shortcut so that it will not confuse you. So I close it. This is what we call a tag, a element, sorry. So this one is opening tag of the a, the closing tag of the closing tag of the a. Do you understand? So now inside, another thing, every attribute is being created, is being declared inside the starting tag, inside the opening tag of an element. So every attribute is being declared inside the opening tag of an element. Please note these three things down. Attributes, HTML attributes specifies or gives further information about an element. That's number one. Second one, HTML attributes comes in name and value pair. That is number two. The third one, HTML attributes is being created inside the opening tag of an element. Let me repeat myself. HTML attributes describes or gives further information about an element. Secondly, HTML attributes comes in name and value pair. Thirdly, HTML attributes is being declared inside the opening tag or starting tag of an element. So which is we're going to only declare HTML attribute inside the starting tag of this element. So this is the starting tag, this is the closing tag, then all of them makes up an element which is called a element. So inside the starting tag of this a element, that is the first tag, which is a tag, opening tag. So we declare something, one of the attributes we call href. Okay, all right, this is where attribute lives. This is where we declare attribute inside the opening tag or inside the starting tag. Opening tag and starting tag is the same thing, inside the opening tag of an element. So I don't want you to misquote me, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. That's why I'm taking my time to state this in carefully. If you have pen, just write it down so that I won't forget. So your attributes, HTML attribute is being declared inside the opening tag of every element. You get? Alright. If it's empty element, it will be declared in that opening tag, because empty element only has a opening tag, they don't have closing tag. It will be declared inside the opening tag regardless of there's no closing tag or content. So that is just it. It must be inside the opening tag of an element. It must be inside the opening tag of an element. Please don't do it somewhere else, otherwise you will not get your code will not work. Alright, so now this is one of the attributes we're talking about here. So this attribute, like I said before, it comes in name and value pair. This is the name of the attribute, href, hyperreference, href. Okay, then afterwards we have equal sign, then your quote, double quote. Okay, inside your double quote, that is where you put the value of this particular href. That's why I'm saying it comes in name and value pair. This is the name of the href. Then whatever thing you have inside this place, my cursor is blinking now, is what we call the value of that particular href. Am I communicating? So href is the name of the attribute. Then inside the quote there, after you have after your equal sign, then inside the quote is where you have the value of your href. All right, I think I've explained it enough. So now, what does href do? So href works hand in hand with a tag, that is anchor element, a element. It works hand in hand. These two guys helps you to create a link. So they cannot go independently. If you create only a tag without putting href attribute, you will not be able to create a link. Okay, if you create only href attribute without being able to create a element or a tag, you will not be able to create a link. And moreover, you cannot create an attribute without having an element present. So an element has to be present before you create an attribute. So let me repeat myself again. An element has to be present. There must be an element. An element has to be in existence before you be able to create an attribute. So an attribute is highly dependent in an element. If an element doesn't exist, an attribute won't exist. All right. So now I said that in combination with this a element with href, they helps you to create an element. So every attribute has its function. Like I said before, every element has a function. The same thing with every attribute has its function. A function a particular attribute does. There's a role a particular attribute plays in every element is being declared in. So it gives, like I told you, it gives further information. It helps elements further to carry out a task. All right. So let's see how this href will help this this href attribute to help this a element to be able to create a link. Okay, so now the value of this particular href is actually the link in which when we click it goes somewhere. So let me do what I mean. All this what I've explained now, let me just practicalize it now so that you get what I'm saying. So assuming I want to go to Facebook, for example. So I say, okay, in between the value of this href is where I will write the place I want to go to. That is the link I want to be able to visit. So let's say I put https www.facebook.com. all right, so I will just put a content in between. I said before, a content is what is in between the opening tag and the closing tag. That is the in between an element. So I can say click to, I'm putting a content in between the opening tag and the closing tag of this anchor, that is an a element. So click to go to Facebook, click to go to Facebook, click to go to Facebook. All right, so let's quickly open this so that you see the effect that's taken. So I'm using live server. I'm opening with live server. All right, so this is what anchor tag, that is a element or anchor element, has done. So it helps you to create a link. So, and when we create a link, once we create a link, by default it has underline, then with a certain color, that is kind of purple color. So by default that is the color every linked element has in a browser. So now when you hover on it, it shows you hand that is clickable, is hyperlinked, is linked, is clickable. So if you go to other, okay, this is a text. Now if you go to this, it's not showing you that it's clickable. This is not clickable. Okay, as you're looking at it, it's not clickable, but in this one you can see that it's clickable. So it's actually telling you that it's a link, it's clickable. So let me click on it and see how this works out. All right, you are in Facebook. This is login page of a Facebook, of Facebook. All right, so let's go back. So like I told you before, a content takes effect of whatever function every element gives. So as you can see, is the content we wrote in between the elements that we're able to click to be able to go to this href, this link we have there. Am I communicating? Do you really understand what I'm saying? So hopefully I believe you understand. So let's move on to the next one. Another attribute we're talking about here is what we call img, source attribute. It works hand in hand with it works hand in hand with a source attribute. So let's say, let me create the img. So like I told you before, img is one of the empty elements. So let's do this, img. So this is an empty element. It's an empty element. It doesn't have closing, but regardless, you can still have attribute inside it, because like I said before, attribute is living inside the opening tag of every element. This is opening tag. It doesn't have closing. Attributes are living inside the opening tag of every element. So we can put mind you, you can also create, like you can leverage on the shortcut. That's this VS Code shortcut, understand? But I don't want to be using shortcut, so that I will be able to explain in everything, so that everything will be clearer for you, so that you won't get used to, you won't misunderstand anything. So however I will be doing this in this way. After creating it without the shortcut, then I will use shortcut to create it. You see how it works. Okay, like I told you before, the shortcut is when you just type without putting less than and greater than, when you just type the name of that particular element, that particular tag you want to create, that particular element you want to create, just click enter. It populates everything for you. So that is the shortcut idea. So don't query me if I don't use the shortcut. It's just for me to be able to explain it clearly for you, okay, so that you won't get everything mixed up, so you won't get misunderstood, or I won't get misunderstood. All right, so I'm putting my source attribute inside my opening tag. I'm putting my source attribute, src stands for source. I click enter. So it looks like the first, it looks like this href. So as you can see, I have source. All right, this source now is actually it's the value here. What this source will contain as a value is the picture, the other location and the name of the picture you want to. This image helps you, the work of this image element or image tag helps you to bring out a picture in your browser. So now this img tag cannot bring out an image without the help of source attribute. This source attribute is where you put the location of the image, the location and the actual name of the image. So let's say if you declare only img without source, there's no how you can populate an image in your browser without being able to put source attribute. So inside this value of this source attribute is where you put the location and the image. So inside the value of the source, where you put the location of the image and the actual image. So all right, let's get an image now. Okay, so I will just go to my file explorer and get an image. All right, so let me check image here. All right, I will take this particular image, so I'll copy it to my folder, the folder we're using for this tutorial. So I think the folder is web design tutorial. Then inside web design tutorial have HTML. Inside HTML have codes, so I'll put it here or paste it here. Okay, so go back to my VS Code. So inside my VS Code now write the name of the image. So what I have here is a ship.png. As you can see, it has come out like without even finishing the typing. Yes, the name of the image has come out because the image is already there. Like the VS Code is saying, okay, do you mean this? Okay, All right, I click enter. So with this now, my image will come out if I open this code. Okay, let's run it immediately so that we see what we have. Okay, here is this. This is image. This is the image. So with the help of the source attribute, img element was able to populate or bring out an image in your browser. So now another attribute to have we have to talk about now is auth attribute. Auth attribute. Auth attribute is alternative. Like when you say if you have two plans, understand? First one is the first plan, the other one is an alternative plan. If the first one doesn't work, you follow the alternative plan. So alternative here in img element means that in case if the image didn't come out, what should come out? So let's say example, we are opening a browser and an internet connection is poor or is slow. So sometimes the image don't really come out, or it doesn't completely come out. So what happens is that alternative attribute is just alternative to image. If an image didn't come out, what should come out? All right, so let's just make mistake in the spelling, or actually look at the name of the image is sheep. So and we are making mistake, we are removing p. So this image doesn't exist in this file now. It doesn't exist in this file now. So and it won't come out. So what should come out if the image didn't come out? So you can just say a picture of a sheep. So let's open it, you see. Alright, the image didn't come out, but what came out is the alternative, that is auth of that particular image. So a picture of a sheep is what came out. So in some browser, when you opening a website and it didn't load completely, probably the logo didn't load completely, what you see is the company logo, or if it's like example usage logo is what you see. Like the alternative is actually what the image is, so you can put anything there. So what you know that this person will see if the image didn't come out. So just does that. Alright, so let me put back my p. So I've added my p back, so the image will back again. So I have the image back again. So another attribute we'll be talking about is what we call height and width. Height and width, as the name implies, is just the length, like the intensity of the how big the image should be. So let's say you say width, you can give it 150. Height you can give it 130. Height you can give it 130. Alright, so let's see what this attributes has done. Height and width attributes. Okay, it has reduced the image. You can still further increase it. So let's increase it to a very big size. So it's reducing, either increasing or reducing the size of that particular element, that particular image. So let's say put 750 here, put 630 here. So let's see how it is. Okay, see how big it is now. So that is just that is it. So quickly, another attribute is okay, let me put some line break here so that this will be at the top, the length will be at the top. So another attribute is what we call style attribute. Style attribute is what we call inline attribute. Style attribute is inline CSS. Sorry, don't misquote me. Style attribute is inline CSS. So inline CSS helps you to create CSS inline of that particular HTML element. All right, let's see. So I say I create a, okay, before that let me use shortcut to create this image for you. When you type img, as you can see, it has populated the complete code for the img, the source and the alternative. Okay, so when you just type the name of the attribute, name of that tag, as you can see, when you type the name of that tag, just click enter, it brings it out. So before, let's further ahead. So right now this style attribute I'm talking about is an inline CSS. So let's, for example, we say p element now. So I put some text, lorem 12. Okay, sorry, lorem 12 is too long. Okay, I have this text here. So let me give you a line break again here so that all these things will step down. Okay, even as that, the paragraph goes to next line. So without line break here, it will still come down. All right, so we put our style attribute here. So inside our style attribute, the value of our style attribute is actually CSS will be right in there. So though we have not gotten to CSS, but at least from here you will start getting a little idea of CSS. So the value of this style attribute is actually CSS that is written inside it. This your double quote. Okay, so it's CSS that is going to be written inside there. So let's say so like I said, that style attribute is inline CSS. So whatever value you have there, whatever you write inside your quote is CSS. So that's why it's inline CSS. Is pertaining for that particular, it pertains for that particular elements. Okay, am I making sense at all? All right, so let's say I say like for example, I want to change the color of this particular text. So before that, let's see what is the color of the text, the paragraph text. Let me remove the list. So let's see the color of the paragraph text. So you can see the color is black. Okay, sorry, let me take down the size of this image so that it won't be okay. The size has come down. So the color of this text is black. Okay, so CSS, let me define what CSS is. Function of CSS. CSS helps you to manipulate HTML element. It helps you to change the property of HTML element. If this particular HTML element possesses a particular property, you can use CSS to change the property. What do I mean by property? If someone is tall, the property of that person is that the person is tall. If person is short, if someone is short, the property of that particular person is the person is short. If someone is dark in complexion, the property of that person is that the person is dark. If the person is fat, the property of that person is that he is fat. You know, the features in which that particular element possesses the property. So you can use CSS to change these properties of that particular element. Do you get what I'm saying? So you use CSS to manipulate HTML elements. Hope I'm making sense at least. So alright, so I put this time. I want to change the property of this text, which is already black. I want to change the color property because the color of this element already is black. So I want to change it to something else. So I put color. So CSS is helping me to do this now. I put color. So the first thing I'm writing in the quote is what to call property. Sorry, what to call property. Then use column. After you write a property, you put a column. Then afterwards, what comes after it is the value of the property. If you want to change it from black to what? Okay, from black to probably yellow or green or blue. So I'm changing it from black to blue. All right. Okay, let's see. The color of the text has changed, so the paragraph element has been changed now, has been altered now, has been manipulated. All right, so okay, so this actually, the color, we're able to change the color with inline CSS. This is called inline CSS. Understand? It's in line with the elements. It's in line with the element. It's an inline CSS. All right. So we have three major ways in which you write CSS: external CSS, internal CSS, and inline CSS. So this is one of the CSS method of. This is one of the methods of declaring CSS. So you can still further change other things. So when you want to add another property, or you want to change another property, you can easily put it within the quote again. So now all this here is the value of this style attribute. Everything here is the value of this style attribute, but inside this, inside the quote, inside the value now is what to have. We now have our CSS being written inside. So the first thing that is there is what we call property. After the column, then we have the value of the property. So but everything entirely is the value of this style attribute. Am I communicating? Am I making sense? Don't worry, when you get to CSS you understand it properly. Okay, so this one is proper. This is the property you want to change. This one is the value. Okay, that is CSS method. This is where we write CSS, but this is where we write inline CSS. But the entire thing is the value of this style attribute. So, and style attribute is an inline CSS. All right. So I want to put another attribute. I want to change another attribute. Okay. Let me put after. If you want to add another attribute, sorry. If you want to not, I don't want to add another attribute. I want to change another property. I want to add another property and change it. So let me change the background color of this. The background color of this this element, this P element. So I added the background color to be brown. So let's see. As you can see, we have done something. The background color has changed. So the background color was initially nothing. It was transparent. It was transparent. So now I've added a background color. Okay. So whenever I want to add another in CSS, whenever you want to add another property, whenever I want to declare another property, just do semicolon. Then you start writing your, this is the semicolon I'm talking about. You start writing your another property and the value. Start creating the property and the value you want to change. All right. So move ahead. The next, sorry, attribute is very long. It's very long. So we have to understand. So the video is getting long, but I don't mind. This is foundation. This is the thing. This is actually what you really have to know. I don't have to jump or rush it or something like that. So once you have conceptualized these elements and attributes, so once you have conceptualized elements and attributes, there's no two ways about it. You have halfway understood HTML. You have halfway, like the knowledge of HTML is like you have actually gotten to a point, So even without further discussing other things, you can on your own start learning it. So elements and attributes is very important in HTML. So it's very, very important. So that's why I'm taking my time to explain this. All right. Let's move ahead. The next attribute we'll be talking about now is what we call title attribute. So example, I still have my P. Let me create P again. So put some text. RAM 5. So then I go to my opening tag and write a title attribute. So we have a title tag and title attribute. Look at title tag, look at title attribute. They have different works, so don't misunderstand them. So put a description of this, just like that. All right, the work of title is actually, it helps to describe a particular symbol. You have to describe a particular a particular text or a particular content. So at times you have something in your browser, like maybe you have a logo in your browser. Okay, let's say for example, let's go here. So you can see, as you can see, this is a start time logo. So when I hover on this start time logo, it shows me other information that is not written, like I cannot clearly see just me looking at the logo. So it shows me further information I have to know before I'll be able to open this particular application. So this thing is a description. This thing is a title. Is a description to what I have to know. Alright, I don't know what I'm making sense right now. Okay, let's, for example, now when you look at Firefox now, it's a logo, and you know that this logo now, by looking at this logo, you don't know what it is. So I can just hover on it. Hovering on something is just placing your cursor on that thing. So it's telling me that it's Firefox. It's giving me the name of that particular icon or logo. So it's telling me that it's Firefox. If I didn't know that it was Firefox, I have to hover on it. Say, oh, it's Firefox, I want to open. Okay, let me leave it, because the logo didn't give me a complete description, or it didn't give me a complete understanding of what I have to know. So well, if you already know that it's Firefox, you can go ahead and open it and use it to do whatever you want to do. But since you're not sure that it's Firefox, you just have to hover on it. When you hover on it, say, okay, oh, it's Firefox. So title helps to describe further information about a thing, either a logo, icon, or text. So sometimes you have a heading and you didn't put the description, like probably the article for that particular heading. You can put it in title. I don't know whether anybody does this, but you can put it in the description. When that person hovers on that particular topic, the article comes out, you know. So anything, you can use it to do anything, but it gives further information about a content. All right, so let's see this one I've created. Let's see what it has done. So when I hover on this last dummy text, it's going to show me this is a description. Sorry, I don't know what I wrote there, so let me hover on it. Okay. A description of this, a description of what I'm hovering on. That is just it. It gives a description of that. So example, if you don't know that this is a ship image, so I can put a title in this image, and when I hover on this image, it will tell me that this is a ship image. So let's do that immediately. Let's see. Okay, let's this is the add title. Sorry, it's a ship image. And note that you can add more than one attribute in an element. You can add more than one attribute in an element. So I've added, like, how many attributes have I added in this image? I've added source attribute, I've added alternative attribute, I've added width and height attribute, and another one is title attribute. So this is to tell you that you can add more than one attribute in an element. Alright, let's see what this has done. So let me hover on this. This is a ship image. Alright, so the next attribute we'll be talking about is lang attribute. Lang attribute. Lang attribute, you only create or declare lang attribute in your root element, in your HTML root element. So this lang attribute specifies the default language your HTML page has has to take first. So this is English. Okay, lang. Then you declare the value, that is the language in which you want by default. What language should this web page take? So that is lang attribute. So doc type, another attribute is HTML attribute, that is doc type. Doc type, that is when you declare doc type, is asking what type of a document type are you creating. Is HTML. When you write HTML attribute, and as you can see, this is an empty attribute. It doesn't have a, as I told you before, mostly attribute comes in name and value pair, but there are some attributes that are empty, so it doesn't have a value. It just has its name, just its name only. So this is an empty attribute. Okay, so you just declare that it's HTML5. All right. Okay. What else are we supposed to talk about here? What else? All right. Quick reference. As you are creating your attribute, make sure when you write your attribute name, what comes after it is your equal sign. That is your equal sign. Afterwards, you have your quote. So you can still use, apart from double quote, you can still use single quote for this, but I highly recommend using double quote. Even when you use VS Code shortcut, what they use there is double quote. All right. So but you can use single quote, you can still work. So what else do I have to say here? So I think nothing else, I think. All right. So every other attribute you have not talked about along the line, as we are moving ahead, as we are doing other topics, we'll keep on coming across all of them. We have not stated all the elements. If you have not stated all the elements, you have not stated all the tags, you have not stated all the attributes. So as we are going ahead, as we are moving ahead to other topics, we'll be coming across all these elements and attributes one by one until a certain time. Maybe probably at the end of the whole course, you might have actually gotten enough knowledge about these attributes and HTML. But the point you are making here is that we want to show you how you can be able to create an element, an attribute. Okay, how you will be able to declare it properly. If you haven't been told, you might declare an attribute outside an element. You might declare it at the end of the tag or at the closing of the tag. So this is just a proper guideline of how you can be able to declare your attribute or create your element. So with this knowledge now, every other elements can be created. Like, you already know how to create your element. You already know that it can be nested. You can just okay, this element is this, okay, I create it and see what it works. So you can also on your own be able to create your attribute. Okay, you can be able to create your attribute. So you know that your attribute lives inside the opening tag of your element. Just write the attribute. Okay, what do this attribute do? I write it. Then you see what it works. So that is saying this is the most important. Attributes and elements is the most important. So being able to know how to declare them, create them properly is what I'm interested in. So other topics we'll be doing, it will be easier for you because you know how to declare this and create them. You know how to declare an element. You know what is tag, what is opening and closing tag. You know how to declare an attribute. That attribute, most of the attribute comes in name and value pair. Understand? The value of the attribute is actually that is the function of that particular attribute. So like example, what you have here in href, so the link in which you click when you go to Facebook, the link, the value of that particular href is where it will go to when you click the content of this particular anchor, this particular anchor content. Okay, I guess I've said a lot, and a lot will be able to clear or make you to conceptualize what to mean by attributes and also what we've discussed about elements. Hope everything is clear. All right, thank you. I'll see you in another one.